Okay, so the room's not completely ready yet, but I've got my bulletin boards done. This is our bulletin board for anybody who's absent. We'll put the extra work in here and they just pick it up when they come back. And I want to show you the kind of funky thing I did. I had some fabric that I wasn't using, so I kind of stapled it into a little ruffle, and that's how it came out. On this side of the bulletin board is a place to turn your homework in, and these are labeled by grade, because I'm teaching 2 of each grade, so they can just all turn their work in there. And then here's our classroom rules. Be prompt, be prepared, respect yourself and others, turn in assignments on time, listen and follow directions. And here are rewards and negative consequences for not following the rules. And then here we'll have our school news. And right now it's just breakfast and lunch menus and a calendar. And that's a kind of a funky other border here too. It's one bulletin board. I divided it in half. And since I don't sew and I'm not too awfully crafty, what I did was cut the fabric in strips of about 1 inch or 2, I guess, tied them in knots and just stapled them up. And they have a layer, and I think it looks kind of neat, kind of a little bit country, a little bit rustic, deconstructed sewing project. And then I've got some pretty flowers up there that I bought at Michael's at some point. And now, don't look at the mess, don't look at the mess, don't look at the mess. Curtains. Again, I didn't sew them. They are tacky glued. And they're not very straight, I'm noticing. But I think they're pretty. This is some old fabric that my great-grandmother gave me a long time ago, and it still smells like her house, even after I pulled it out of the sewing box. But it wasn't long enough, so I used some old grocery bags and put I don't know if you can see it, I can get around all my junk. I just drew some designs on there just to kind of make it look pretty. And then I also recycled the handles from the grocery bags. And this, let's see if I can do it one-handed. If we want to open the curtains, we can just carefully put them through or un-thumbtack it. You see it's just held on with a real fancy push pin. And that's the way they'll be held back, so that if, God forbid, we should ever have a lockdown or something like that, they'll be real easy. You can just pull it off or just yank that out of the wall. And there's my desk. You can see the mess. Oh, here's my kind of writing beginning literature wall. I'm planning to use that column to post writing and things like that. And there it is, writing. There's a paragraph format that the 7th and 8th graders will be using, and just some ideas for a timeline. Literary analysis, this is what 9th and 10th graders will concentrate on. Just a handmade sign. Not really fancy, but it is laminated. So, and then there's my messy desk. It's already a mess and school hasn't even started. There's some more curtains. Those aren't quite long enough, and I didn't iron them. I'm not an ironer. But that also has decorations on the paper to make them long enough. Yeah, I think it's kind of pretty. It all makes me happy. Hopefully it'll make the kids happy. And here I've got a calendar and just some supplies. Dollar Tree stuff, yay. There's family pictures, and those are kind of interspersed everywhere. Little decorations, because you kind of got to make your, you know, you're a professional. This is your office area. So, you know, you can have your family pictures up because it makes you feel good during the day. And here I've got two different, let me stop this so you can hear. I've got two little bells that I use for kids. First one is a shocker bell, but it makes a really cool sound, and that's why I like the bell. And I just let it ring, and it rings, and it rings, and it rings, and they have until the time it stops ringing to be quiet. It saves me a lot of yelling. And then, good old-fashioned school bell. And this is the brand new classroom, and here brand new, beautiful whiteboards. And of course you can tell I haven't put all my stuff up, but this is my I guess I don't know, like an armoire sort of thing. And then there's this side. Oh, look, my goodness. I look terrible. Yeah, but the kids aren't here, so they won't be scared. And then I'm planning on using this for all my kind of teacher books. We're doing PSYOP again this year. Thankfully, I've been doing it all the time, but now everybody's going to be doing it, so that should be great. And then this is a nifty thing, look. And it's more whiteboards. Isn't that awesome? And then there's there's 3 of these cabinets. Christmas tree. And there's 3 sets of those. Oh, and it smells so new. You guys should smell it. I don't think I've ever taught in a brand new room before, but there it is. And it's not completely done, but maybe I'll take another picture when it's all done. Sorry. Okay, new science room. Let me make sure I got the new lockers. Lockers. Teacher's lounge. Staff restroom. There's the rest of our hallway. And here's my room. Oh, I should probably put my name up there, huh? Okay. So here we go. And here is my school news bulletin board. You can see the kind of homey border I put there. All it was some extra gingham I had left over, and I just tied it in knots and stapled it up. I think it looks kind of cute. I mean, it's nothing fancy, but I think it's cute. And I divided it into 2 sections so I could have a school news board. Right now all we have is the breakfast and lunch menus and a calendar, but then we'll have any announcements, athletic calendars, things like that. Here I post the classroom rules. I made them this year because I've had all these kids before, some since 2nd grade, and I've had them all in 7th and 8th grade, so they're used to this, they know this, so we're just keeping them the same. And then here's where they're going to turn in their homework, and all these are labeled. You can see 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th and 10th grade. And then I just used some colored paper and some contact paper, some clear sticky paper to put that there. And then I've got some pencils. These are the only pencils they're getting from me this year, because I spent a lot of money in pencils. So if they don't have a pencil Monday, then they can have one, but that's all I'm giving them. After 25 years, kind of done giving out pencils. Not really. They know they're going to get more pencils out of me. Okay. And here's our What You Missed board. This is for kids who are absent. I put all the extra work. If we do any paperwork, we don't always do it every day, but if there's any extra paperwork or extra assignments, they'll go in those. And those are labeled by grade as well. By period, excuse me. By period. And then this is kind of a neat bulletin board border. I saw somebody do this with burlap. I didn't have any burlap, and you know how it is at the end of the summer when your summer checks are petering out. It's either eat or buy bulletin board stuff. So I chose groceries this time. Sometimes I do choose bulletin board stuff or classroom stuff, but that came out kind of neat. I think it's pretty. I like it. And then here, oh, there's my old teddy bear. I've had him since I was a new teacher for about 20 years. He's been in every classroom I've ever had. He has comforted kindergartners all the way up to 6th graders. And now he's going to keep watch over the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th graders. Good bear. And then here's some, we have windows, more than one. So I thought it would be nice. I had this old fabric again, and there was a lot of it. I intended to, quilt, teach myself how to quilt, but I didn't. So I made some windows, and the panels weren't quite long enough because, that's why I teach English. So I just tacky glued them onto a recycled paper bags from the grocery store and just drew some vines and leaves and stuff, and it's nothing fancy, but there you go. There's another window. And oh, let me turn around here because I'm running into a post, a column in the middle of the room there on the side. And this is what the rest of the room looks like. I decided to do pods because I'm not a straight row kind of person. Over here is the beginning of our bookshelf. Our middle school is attached to a ginormous library that's shared with the high school and middle school. So I don't keep a lot of books in my room, because we can go to the library whenever we like. So here's one bookshelf and just some pretties. And this box is, I know it's kind of goofy and kind of babyish maybe, but I keep pebbles in here, see? And then I'm going to do this with 7th graders this year. And any day that I feel like they've done something well, they get pebbles in the jar, and when they fill that up, we have some sort of celebration. And then those are my shells. That's going to be for emotional intelligence work. They come in and they pick a shell that kind of describes them for the day. And then we sit around and we talk about it for a couple of minutes. And it's practice listening and practice recognizing our own emotions. And this is a neat thing about these new rooms. We have these really cool whiteboards here. And there's 4 of them, and I teach 4 grades, so luckily I can put my language and content objectives by grade. And then these pictures are going to be for writing prompts later on in the week. The cool thing about these, oh, there's storage. There's so much storage in this room. I can't believe it. So here are my class sets of books and some really ancient dictionaries and thesauruses, but I keep them around just so we can kind of compare. What did words mean 50 gazillion years ago, and what do they mean today? And here's some more class sets of books and just various supplies. Those are some storage containers I didn't need, so that's where they are. And then here I put some art supplies and everything but the paint. So there's construction paper, which I don't have a lot of. Crayons. These have been collected. I have had this bucket since I was a first-year teacher, so 25 years. And every year I put the leftover crayons, whoever doesn't take their crayons home, the little broken crayons, things like that in there. So that's kind of been collecting and used for 25 years. Cool, huh? And then, I'm not very good at this thing, but then these are my teacher books and CDs, and look at this. cassette tapes. I'm so old, you're lucky they aren't 8 tracks. But one day I'll get a cassette tape player in here, maybe. And these are study guides for novels and teacher books that I can use for class. These are all locked and the key is in an inopportune place, but I've got all that storage and all this storage, and you better believe it's all full. My husband wouldn't let me take anything else home. And here's our first day activity. I'm going to do the same thing with every grade. It's just kind of a getting to know you sort of thing. And they're going to just get an index card and answer or do whatever those questions say. And that's pretty much it. Oh, wait, my writing post. Writing, and there's some stuff for 7th grade up there and down there. And then in the middle, my 9th and 10th graders, 10th grade especially, we're going to focus on literary analysis this year. So for everything that we read, our writing's going to focus on analysis. So that's kind of their guide there. And there's another window. And here's my pretty, pretty hall passes. And there's a place I made for homework because I've got tons of whiteboards in this. And then here's my desk. It's kind of homey. I got some decorations, pictures of my family. I can't find the picture of my parents. Those are my in-laws. I love them. And my son. And some pictures of my son when he was a baby. And I don't have a picture of my other son because he doesn't like his picture taken. And that's it. And look at, don't look too much at the view because there's trash, but look at this view out this window. Let's see if you can see it. Don't look at the trash in the corner because we're building and constructing. But isn't that great? Look at those mountains and look at those flowers. It's beautiful, beautiful wild flowers. I convinced them not to weed whack them. And that's it. Little corner. I don't know what I'm going to do with all this right now, but that's it. So